Now, the title of this, the title of this says Volkswagen makes horsepower a subscription. This needs to stop. I don't know if that's actually what it's about, but this has my curiosity. I'm kind of curious what's going on with this. And what really sparked my interest with this is because it's Volkswagen. Because leave us not forget, it was 15, 20 years ago that Volkswagen fucked with the data regarding their like miles per gallon or their emissions ratings or something like that. There was a giant class action lawsuit against Volkswagen because they fucked with some of their testing data. Was their emissions? Yeah, they fucked with their emission testing data. And because of that, they had to pay out big time, like even to the point that they had to replace people's cars. So because that happened with Volkswagen like 15, 20 years ago, that's what drew my attention to this one. It's like, okay, now they're going to do horsepower as a subscription. It has my interest. So let's take a look.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. Welcome to today's episode of How You're Getting Fucked. I'm your host, Rossman, and today we're going to be discussing innovation, subscription models, and this trend where every single time things get better, they get worse, and why they don't have to. I want to talk about...
Oh, and by the way, someone I can't remember if it was one of you guys asked me about it or if someone in one of my other YouTube videos asked this. Like, how do I know that Lewis does not actually do computer repairs anymore? And a couple reasons, because number one, he's doing a lot of lobbying and he's doing a lot of this stuff where he's like researching tech companies trying to fuck people over and things like that. But also, I do believe he has a medical condition. I don't know what exactly, but his hands are shaking. His hands shake very badly now, and so he doesn't have the hand stability in order to do fine board repair work like he used to. Yeah, like very significant tremors, Sketty, like significant. And considering that the board repairs, you need to have a pretty steady hand, especially when you're doing, with the board repairs and, resoldering points and everything. If you don't have full access to that, you can't really do it anymore. Anubis, he has not said anything, so I have no idea. I don't know if he has ever disclosed what the affliction might be or what the cause of it is. But I do know the last few board repairs I ever saw him do, I could see his hand shaking. And my guess is it may have gotten a bit worse. And so physically, I think he's just not really capable of doing those finite board repairs anymore. He still has his company, that does do it, but what put him on the YouTube map was he would basically do board repairs on camera, on his YouTube channel, and that was a huge part of his YouTube channel. He would repair MacBooks on YouTube, but he hasn't done that for a while because of the issue he has with his hands, I believe.
Digital locks, and now we have to start reframing the conversation because the Overton window has shifted to the point where being able to get access to what you bought and paid for is actually considered illegal hacking, whereas locking you out of what you bought and paid for, well, that's just a good business model. Let's talk about this with regards to Volkswagen. Volkswagen has this on their site. If you were buying an ID3, this is on the UK version of their site. So forgive me if I get anything wrong while converting from British to English. Important information on new ID3 orders. Engine power is 150 kilowatts as standard, 170 kilowatts if you activate the optional power upgrade for a fee.
9. So it has 170 kilowatts in it, but you're only going to get 150 unless you pay a fee. Oh, that's fucking dirty. That is fucking dirty that they're doing that. Jump from 150 kilowatts to 170. Well, this is on electric cars. So this is all on electric cars. What that translates into horsepower, I don't know. But yeah, they are basically nerfing the power output of the battery unless you pay. Giggle fingers? Not that I'm aware of. If someone does know if Tesla does this, One-time cost. Okay, so Tesla does do this, but they do it at a one-time cost. I'm wondering if Lewis actually did a video on that too. Like they're making it like it has this capacity, but unless you pay a fee, we're not going to unlock it. And if you jailbreak it, you'll get like fined or something like that. I mean, that's all bullshit. If you're going to sell a car with 170 kilowatts of engine power, you sell the car with 170 kilowatts of engine power. You don't turn your car into a fucking subscription model. That's a surefire way, especially when you have people like Lewis, and I'm actually going to move over to the other side so I'm not obstructing him. When you have people like Lewis pointing this out, it's going to kill your business. Yeah, John Deere was a huge opponent in regards to right to repair. They don't want anybody repairing their shit other than that because they want to have a monopoly on it.
Choice of 1 month free trial or subscription, 1 month.
By the way, Hunter, he shouldn't accept the one-time fee. Even the one-time fee from Tesla is unacceptable. It's completely unacceptable. You're already spending tens of thousands of dollars on these electric vehicles. If you're spending tens of thousands of dollars on an electric vehicle, you should by law have access to everything that comes in that vehicle, no lockouts whatsoever. Should not be fucking allowed at all. If you buy a vehicle and they say, oh, well, it also has this in it that's built into it, but you don't get that unless you pay us a fee, fuck that. I will not buy that car. I will not buy a car if I have to pay a fee to unlock a legitimate feature. Even at one time, I will not buy it. Because I will not pay extra after I've already spent tens of thousands of dollars on a car to unlock the quote-unquote full potential of my vehicle. Because this is not like, okay, the OnStar service, which is just a communications thing, and the OnStar is secondary from the manufacturer itself. This is from the manufacturer, okay? And legit, it needs to be illegal for companies to to do this, to basically add paid DLC to your car purchase in order to be able to use all the features of your vehicle. 100%, it should be illegal. Should not be allowed at all. And Vespasian, thank you for the gifted. Well, between the difference between that and getting upgrades on a regular car. Ah, Worm, okay. Very easy answer. Getting upgrades on a regular car means you are actually paying to have new or different modules installed in the car. The modules are not already built into the regular car, and you're paying to unlock that if you get an upgrade. If you upgrade a regular car, you're actually paying to have those different things installed into the car. They didn't come with it. What this is this engine came with 170 kilowatts of power, but they're going to nerf it down to 150 kilowatts of power unless you pay a subscription fee. There's the difference. The 170 is already there when you've bought it, but it's locked out. It's locked behind a paywall. That's the difference.
Activate the optional power upgrade for a fee. Choice of 1 month free trial or subscription, 1 month, 1 year, or outright purchase for the lifetime of the car. So the pricing that I can find is £629 if you want it for a lifetime, or £18 a month if you want to pay every single month to get slightly faster acceleration. It looks like the amount of horsepower that you're getting gives you approximately like a quarter to half a second on your 0 to 60 time, which is something, but it's a minor change. It's not something that's like life-changing for me. Now, this is not something that's new. This is something that's...
And by the way, I'm going to point out, Luz may point this out too. If they're already paywalling the horsepower of your electric vehicle, what else are they paywalling? What else that comes built into the car are they paywalling in addition to the horsepower?
been around for a long time. Tesla has been doing this with the Model 3, at least as far as I know. I know with the 2021 Model 3, if you want to go from 4.2 second acceleration to 3.7 seconds 0 to 60 time, you can pay $2,000 and unlock that. Now, Tesla has 2 different tiers for doing.
See, fuck that shit too. Absolutely fuck that shit too. If the vehicle's going to come with that faster acceleration baked into it, and you're going to paywall it, fuck you, I'm not buying a car. I will not buy your car if you're going to paywall that shit. I wasn't thinking about buying a Tesla in the first place, but if that's actually in place, cool. My decision's made. I ain't buying it. Because again, if they're paywalling off the engine power, what else are they paywalling off that they're not telling you about right now? Well, what are they going to suddenly decide to turn into a paywall at a later time?
This. One is with some of the newer cars where they have a performance version. The performance version of some of the newer cars, they're using different electronics, different inverters. Everything in the car is physically different. You're buying better hardware to get a faster speed. Go. Whether or not you think it's worth the money, that's always an argument. But you can't argue that you're actually getting different hardware when you buy the higher end version of the car. Correct. So you are paying for something. Whereas with this is something separate. This is where the exact same car has the ability for a 3.7 second 0 to 60, but they're only giving you 4.2 unless you pay them more money. And this is what starts to piss people off. Now, one of the reasons that I think Tesla, for all their faults as a car company, of which there are many, has not gotten destroyed as much as other car companies over this is, surprisingly, they actually don't nickel and dime you as much as everybody else. Check out what Volkswagen and BMW have done in recent years. They have this with light assist, something called light assist or some high beam control thing, where the high beams will automatically turn themselves off when a driver is coming on the other side. See that? There's a driver coming on the other side, the high beams turn themselves off, and once the driver is gone, the high beams are then going to turn themselves back on. BMW provides a, quote, free trial for this, and so does Volkswagen. You can get a free trial.
Except this one, it's... They're paywalling the shit out of their vehicles. All of this is already baked into the car. This is all baked in there. This is fucking disgusting. This is money grubby as fuck. This is absolutely money grubby as fuck. Like, it's disgusting. It's disgusting that car companies will do this. And do you know why they do it? Do you know why the car companies do it? They learn from the gaming companies. Because the gaming companies started this first. The gaming industry started this with their paid DLC, where they locked off extensive content that should have been in the game in the first place, that came with the game in the first place, but they locked off behind paywalls right from the get-go, even though it was baked in the code. It wasn't an actual updated DLC. It was actually baked onto the disc from day one. But they locked it off behind a paywall. And what happened? Gamers paid for it. Gamers did pay for it. They put up the money. They didn't revolt and say, well, fuck this, we're not buying your game, and cause the company to take a very serious financial hit that would make the companies go, all right, this was a bad idea. We shouldn't do this again because we took a major hit in the wallet. Because gamers paid it, they're like, cool, they'll pay for anything. We're going to keep doing it. Car companies saw this model was working, saw that these gaming companies were continuing to make record profits, and said, cool, we can do this too. And now you have this. Because people are accepting it. And yes, Revan, in a way, we have enabled it. Because the general populace did not outright reject this when it first started with games and said, fuck this, we're not buying your game. And basically caused the gaming companies to take a massive financial hit because people said, fuck this, we're not going to buy your game. They said, cool, they'll accept this. We can do it. It's kind of like that whole thing of gamers should accept not owning their games anymore because gamers have not stood up and said, fuck that shit. And now it's expanding to all other companies, expanding to car companies. I'm pretty sure it's expanded to appliance companies too, where they're putting essentially paywalled features for appliances in place. So you have to pay a monthly fee. It's going to spread to everything. It's going to spread to everything now. Until people stand up and go, we're done, and stop buying these companies' products, saying, nope, if you're going to do this, we're not buying, and the general populace says, fuck this, and stops giving them money, it will continue, and it will only get worse. We are seeing the inception of this. It is going to get so much fucking worse.
For it, or you could pay for it pounds a month, 40 pounds a year, to get access to this feature that is in your car. Again, it's weird because like even Tesla does not nickel and dime you that bad.
And by the way, fuel pounds a month or 40 pounds per year, bearing in mind people typically keep these cars for 5 to, I'll be generous and say maybe 10 years on the outside. They're counting on people seeing this low dollar amount here and choosing that over the unlimited, because that way they'll get people to pay quadruple or more for this singular service instead of paying for the unlimited upfront. They're going to pay, oh, it's just $4 a month. I'll do that. They pay for it. They forget about it. They have their car for around 5 to 10 years. You have now paid quadruple plus what you normally would have paid for the unlimited right off the jump. It is so fucking scammy. It's not even funny.
You could pay for it pounds a month, 40 pounds a year. Is like even Tesla does not nickel and dime you that bad. Another example is with air conditioning. This is actually a feature that I really enjoy in modern cars. I will admit it. You have remote start, but let's say you're too far away for remote start to work. Let's say I'm almost a mile away from my car. I'm walking back to it. It's 108 degrees in Texas summer heat. It's really nice to be able to turn on the air conditioner so that by the time I get to the car, it is nice and cold. Or if it's negative 27 degrees in New Hampshire, to be able to turn the heat on to make sure it's nice and toasty by the time I get there from an app on my phone. Tesla doesn't charge you a monthly fee for this. You know who does? Almost every other automotive manufacturer. It's crazy. But anyway, regardless of who's doing it, this is something that's becoming more and more prevalent and more annoying. And the reason that this is annoying is because you've already paid for this when you bought the car. You bought the battery, guarantee they're not giving you lithium for free. You bought the motor, I guarantee they're not giving you motors for free. You paid for all of this when you purchased the car. They're claiming that you can then get access to this by paying, but you already should have access to that when you bought the car because you already bought all the shit that's necessary for this to work. Now, there's always going to be that person in the comments that goes, actually, this allows them to sell it cheaper to people that otherwise would not have been able to afford it. Why are you against this innovation?
And I'm going to call bullshit. I am 100% going to call bullshit on that. This is not allowing them to sell cheaper at all. Because my guess is they are probably not even offering the option of having all this stuff working from the get-go when you purchase the car. They probably don't even sell it as an option. They only offer it as a subscription basis. That's the whole thing there. And again, it's already baked into it. So it's already there. It's not like with a non-electric car where, like Luz said and like I said, where you can have the SE version or you can have the LE version, which literally has different hardware in the car, and thus you're paying more for the extra hardware. It's the same fucking hardware. It's the same fucking software. You literally just have a software block on it. And chances are they are not going to sell you an option. They're not going to sell you a higher priced option with all of these features unlocked because they're going to make more money by going with the subscription route versus selling you a car at a higher price up front with everything unlocked. That's my guess. And so the argument of, well, they can sell cheaper for people that don't want these options. They probably don't sell a higher version with all the options unlocked. That would be my guess.
And the problem with this line of thinking is that in the past, this is not what innovation meant. Innovation did not mean one step forward for technology, 2 steps back for freedom. This is not the way it worked. When you think about going from glass and wax discs and records and tapes to CDs, or you think about going from VHS to DVD to Blu-ray, when you went from VHS to DVD to Blu-ray, you just bought a Blu-ray And you just got the higher resolution. You didn't buy a Blu-ray and have it say to you that if you pay us 10 cents a month, you can get access to this at 400 lines of resolution. If you pay 20 cents a month, you get access to this at 1080p. And if you pay $1 a month, you get access to your Blu-ray at 4K. This is not how it worked. Blu-ray came out. You had the ability to get a nice 50 to 100 gigabyte movie file that was full resolution, 1080p or 4K, and you just got the 1080p or 4K. As the technology progressed, the price of Blu-rays and Blu-ray players went down, and everybody got access to the better technology. You didn't have this bullshit tiered system in place. This is not how it works.
Yes.
When the color television came out, it's not like there was a little button on it that said, unlock your free trial of color, or pay the... You bought a color television. You have a color TV. You plug in your VCR, and you're able to watch things in color. That's just the way it used to be.
Yeah.
Now, people may say, well, they're driving a car that has the ability to go faster, which means they're putting more wear and tear on it. They're putting more wear and tear on it. That means that they're more likely to file a warranty claim because something's more likely to go wrong with more wear and tear. Therefore, the manufacturer's charging you upfront for that. That's a real argument. I see that in my comment section on a regular basis from people who...
Really? That's the argument, because you're getting about 10 more horsepower, you're going to put more wear and tear on it, and then there's chance there's going to be a lot more warranty claims. Fucking really? Does this person not realize that when people make when warranties are facilitated, it is factored in that wear and tear is factored into warranties. And with these warranties on these electric vehicles, the warranties that they've worked up will account for either the 150 kilowatt or the 170 kilowatt. They would factor that into the warranty. And 9 times out of 10, the purpose of the warranty doesn't cover wear and tear. It's wear and tear is not covered by warranty. What warranty covers is by mechanical defect. That's what the warranty covers. The warranty covers if there is a defect, not if it is user-induced damage, i.e. wear and tear.
Who cosplay as major shareholders of these companies that don't give a fuck about them. People make that argument. Why not take it to its logical conclusion? You're able to charge them a subscription fee because the car connects to the internet. Why not just monitor their driving and charge them more money if they drive in a way you don't like? It's not like that has an...
Wait for it. When I said this is only the beginning, what Lewis just said should fucking scare you, because what's going to happen is, because all of these things are connected to the internet, you know what's going to happen? The car companies are going to get in bed with the insurance companies, and they're going to basically funnel the car data. I'll say it's already doing that. Okay, so some insurance companies are already doing this. So some insurance companies are already getting your real-time car data sent to them so they can start jacking up your insurance rates based on how you drive.
Already happened. General Motors was spying on how customers drive, and without their consent, sending this information off to data brokers that then sold it to insurance companies that then raised their insurance rates based on how the shitty bullshit cracked out AI in the car evaluated their driving. Why not just do that? You're more likely to file a warranty claim because you made a turn with a hard steering radius. They send you a bill to collections for $750 a month after you bought the car. Don't defend this shit. I'm telling you. Black Mirror. It's not fiction. It's a documentary. Season 7, Episode 1.
Actually, Lewis, I think it might be more like a corporate blueprint at this point, not a documentary. It's Black Mirror and Idiocracy are turning into Black Mirror, Idiocracy, and 1984 are turning into instruction manuals, not documentaries, and that's this fucking scary thing.
Look on my channel a month before they started writing Season 7. Planned obsolescence comes to brain implants. This is not fiction. This is not prediction. This is a documentary of the world that we live in. Imagine if I was offering a repair service for $250 and somebody said, I can't afford it. And then I told them, well, how about I make it $150, but there's a 45% chance that after 14 months it stops working. And, oh, you can't afford that? Okay, it's $100, but there's a 60% chance after 8 months it stops working. See, I've created tiers for you. I made it so that somebody who couldn't afford it could pay for a lower fuck this. This is not how any of this works. When progress is made, progress is made. There are early adopters that pay a lot of money and eventually prices come down for everybody. That used to be how it is. Now we've created this bullshit fake economy where we improve things, but then we gimp them and then tell people that it is innovation to be able to unlock access to what they already bought and paid for. It's not the same. It's not even fucking close to comparable. And I understand.
And nobody thinks it's innovation. Everybody knows is pure corporate greed. Everybody knows this.
Understand when manufacturers do this shit and try to normalize it, that's their job to try and fuck you over. It's your job as a consumer to not do their fucking job for them. They're not giving you stock in exchange for defending this bullshit. Innovation has occurred for centuries, and every time the innovation occurs, things just get generally better. They don't, well, they get better, but we're going to artificially keep you from having that unless you pay the additional money on top of what you bought and paid for. Don't allow the Overton window to shift to where this is considered innovation, because it is not. Now, something that's important to talk about here about how we push back against this.
Yeah, Alex, I hate to tell you, PMCs are already a thing. That's very much already a thing where companies have their own PMCs. That is legit a thing already. It's not obvious like it is in Cyberpunk, but it is. They do exist.
Is the idea that it is illegal to break a digital lock on what you bought and paid for. On this channel, I know I keep hammering this point home, but it's important. A month ago, a company that makes thermostats pushed out a firmware update that said to everybody, if you want to still be able to use the app that we sold this with, you got to pay us a monthly subscription fee, even though we never said that when we sold you the product. That is what, in my opinion, ransomware. I made a video saying if anybody figures out how to get around this, $5,000, and you're going to hear in the next few weeks, somebody came up with a solution that I'm fairly satisfied with. But after I did that, the CEO of the company said, that's illegal hacking. So him taking away access to what you bought and paid for, that's a business model. But me giving you back access to what you bought and paid for, that's a violation that in the United States can get you sent to prison for 3 to 5 years. And the people that defend these garbage laws that say it is illegal to break a digital lock on what you bought and paid for will often use words like innovation to describe why it's really important, because people won't innovate if they can't lock what it is that they have.
You know what this sounds like? This sounds like somebody that has money to do this needs to start taking this to court and setting court precedent. That's what's going to stop this. If people are able to take these companies to court, you know, people buy these products and they get told, oh, it's locked down under a paywall, and then they jailbreak it, and the company says, oh, that's going to be a fine. That needs to go to a court. That needs to go in front of a judge, because the only thing that is going to solve this is established case law. They need to get this in front of a judge. They need to play the case. They need to present the case that, like, hey, I bought and paid for this product, and this company is telling me I cannot use this aspect of my product, and that if I basically do what I choose to do with my product, that I'm going to get arrested and I'm going to get fined. And they need to get established case law to tell these companies to go fuck themselves in the ass. That's realistically the only thing that's going to solve this right now is established case law.
Created. And the problem that I have with this is that this word, this buzzword of innovation, is used all the time as a catch-all, as a dog whistle for leave me alone and allow me to continue screwing over everybody else. You've heard this in right to repair hearings going back to 2019.
Pro-innovation,
And you'll hear it today regularly, arguing in favor of digital locks. This word gets brought up a lot also within the context of the Stop Killing Games movement, where they'll say that if you want games to actually last, that this is a bad thing because it will stifle innovation. And one of the best voted comments in one of my videos, which I really wish I remember the person who made it, was, well, yeah, Stop Killing Games could be the best thing for innovation of all time. Imagine how much more incentive there is to innovate and make better games if the company can't make your old game stop working. I bought Street Fighter Alpha 3 when I was 10 years old. It's a good game. I enjoyed the game. I bought that game with money that I made myself shoveling snow, and it's fucking 7 degrees outside in New York City. And frankly, it's still a good game. These games are good enough to me that I never have to pay for any of the new ones. Not because of piracy or anything, simply because the new ones just aren't that good. Now, if they were able to disable my current Street Fighter from working, I'd have a big incentive to buy their new game, even if it wasn't innovative. In which scenario is there more incentive structure to innovate? When you could turn off what I bought and paid for, or when you have to compete with the product that you made yesterday?
Okay, the argument, the counter I have to that, not that I am disagreeing with Lewis in any way. I am not disagreeing with Lewis in any way. But the counter to that is in the terms of game companies, they don't see it as innovating to make a game better in accordance with Stop Killing Games, because the whole purpose is they want to crank out games as much as possible to basically do the FOMO and to basically anticipate next product, consume next product, anticipate next product, consume next product. And they want to the companies want to maintain that customer base mentality. If Stop Killing Games goes through and companies now need to start, the gaming industry now needs to create games that have basically unlimited life, even if the company servers go offline, where they either can be played offline or they can be played on private servers, and therefore, the game never gets shut down, then people will play that game. And when the next game comes out, there's a good chance people are going to go, I don't want to get that. I'm having fun with this game. I'm going to keep playing this game. Even if the servers are shut down, I'm still having fun playing this game, and I'm not interested in spending more money on that next game. Whereas it sits right now, if they play the game and they decide to shut down the service for it, they stop doing support for it, so the game can basically, especially if it's a live service game, so the game is basically no longer functional. Now they basically are at the point where, well, I don't have a game anymore. I guess maybe I'll go to the next game. Whereas if it did have end of life support in a way where it could be played offline, be played on private servers, et cetera, then you could keep playing that game and gamers won't give a fuck about the next game. And so the company has just spent a fuckload of money on this next game. Nobody's buying it. So that's why companies, I don't think it's going to make companies innovate more. In fact, I think that companies will basically take shortcuts. If they're forced to do this, with the current state of the gaming industry, the majority of the companies will actually take shortcuts. And what they'll do is for their end of life stuff, they will nerf the ever living fuck out of the games to either be played offline or to be played on private servers. And they'll just nerf the ever-living shit out of it, so it no longer is as fun of a game as when it was live and active. That is my suspicion. Granted, I'm cynical about this, but that's what my cynical mind is telling me is going to happen if the Stop Killing Games comes to fruition, and I do hope Stop Killing Games does come to fruition. But I do think that companies are going to start taking shortcuts in their game designs so that end of life basically turns the game into a shit game, and a lot of the stuff is nerfed. And people, deliberately for the purpose of people not wanting to play the games at end of life, so they will go and consume next product. That's my unfortunate suspicion.
Let's take that to cars. When are you going to innovate more? When you can simply make recurring revenue off of my fucking high beams, or when you are going to actually have to make things better in order for me to buy a new car? Think about it. True innovation is going to be unlocked when digital locks can be unlocked. The only way around this is going to be when groups of people decide we are sick and tired of this. When people start saying, yeah, I'm going to buy the base model car and I'm going to use what I found on this website that allows me to unlock access to what I bought and paid for. And more importantly, we have to start using different terminology to move the Overton window. The Overton window has been moved so far in the anti-ownership direction that ransomwaring what people bought and paid for is a business model. Locking you out of what you bought in your car is just a standard business model. But getting back access to what you bought and paid for is considered illegal hacking. And I don't like that. The word hacking is a word that is going to be seen by senators and Congress people and representatives as evil people that want to try and steal.
And again, it's going to be seen by congressmen and representatives who are 80 fucking years old and don't know how to use a computer. That's the scary part. We are talking about technology. We're talking about computer technology, computer software engineering systems. And this is going to be presented in front of a bunch of dumbass fucking 80-year-olds that barely know how a typewriter works. And they're going to be the ones to determine the law when it comes to these technological services. I can't think of a better argument for term limits than this. To get the old fucks out of there and get people in there that actually know how the modern the modern world functions better. Because you are going to have the companies using buzzwords like illegal hacking or hackers or jailbreaking, and these dumb fucking 80-year-olds are going to go, "Oh, that sounds really bad. That sounds scary. We can't allow that to happen." Mechanists, they congressmen and senators should have the same term limits as president. Give them 2 terms of 4 years, and you're done. That's it. You get 2 terms, you're out. No more. It absolutely should become a thing. It's never going to happen because Congress will never vote to limit their own power. They'll never do it. But it doesn't, absolve them of the fact that it needs to be fucking done. 100%. The only way that 2 4-year term limits will be enforced is if literally the American people vote in like 80 to 90% of new congressmen or senators. That is the only way it's going to happen. It is if the American people en masse vote in new people that actually will do that, which is not going to happen. It's not going to happen, unfortunately. It would take a constitutional amendment, Merlin, but you would need a Congress that would be willing to even attempt to make that constitutional amendment. And we're not going to. Because power begets power retention. Governments will never willingly give up their power. And the United States government will never willingly give up this power.
Credentials and steal people's money and steal their bank accounts. And that's sad. I don't like the fact that these two are put together. Northwest Repair has a great YouTube channel where he repairs graphics cards. He's very skilled at what he does. He's a good dude. And one of the things that he says is that there are graphics cards where when the power circuitry is not functioning properly, that the card will clock itself down. It'll work at like 200 or 500 megahertz instead of 2 gigahertz. And what he does is he fixes the power circuitry, and at the end of it, the graphics card works at its rated clock speed. And I think we need to start using terminology like that rather than accepting the terms that have been put forth by our adversaries instead of accepting their vocabulary. When Volkswagen sells you a car and you've paid for the motor and you've paid for the battery and you've paid for everything else, but they want you to pay again to get 170 kilowatts, we cannot call that a break of a digital lock. We need to call that what it is, a repair. That's what it is. The car was not functioning to its specified power level. So I fixed it, and now it does. The same way that when Northwest Repair fixes a GPU on his channel that's operating at 500 megahertz because the power circuitry is malfunctioning. We cannot use their vocabulary if we want to win. When I bought my house, imagine I bought my house for $500,000, but then if I want access to my balcony, I got to pay the owner of it $1,000 a month. You would never in a million years accept that. That's complete and utter bullshit. I bought the house. Not. Now imagine if that door, he didn't give me the key to it, so I had to pay a locksmith to change the lock, or I changed the lock myself. Can you imagine a world where that's considered illegal? That's insane. That's ridiculous. That would never in a million years fly. What I'm doing, if my house has a door where the lock doesn't work, I'm not breaking into the locks and hacking it. I'm repairing my house that I bought and paid for so that I may access what I bought and paid for. Granted, this is not the best example because when I bought this house, it was a fixer-upper and like half of the shit didn't fucking work when I bought and paid for it. But that point aside, I bought the house. It's my house. If I want to get access to something in my garage or something on my balcony or something in my backyard or room downstairs I want to use as a server closet, and I don't have a key to it because the original owner didn't give it to me, I'm allowed to break that lock. And I call that a repair. I don't call that hacking. If we're using their language, we are already losing the war. The fact that it is illegal to break digital locks is not something that's going to change if we continue to use the language of we want to break digital locks. Because breaking a lock, whether you like it or not, sounds like you're doing something wrong. And if we want to get these laws changed so that people that are infinitely smarter than me can come out with something that they put on their GitHub on a little USB stick that you plug into your car, and then you get access to everything that you bought and paid for already, we need to use language that makes sense. When we talk about what Future Home did, we're not hacking their thermostat. We're repairing it so that you can use it again the way it was advertised when you bought it. When somebody comes up with a solution for an Echelon bike that used to allow you to use the third-party app but now doesn't, they broke that when they sent out that firmware update to make it not work with third-party applications.
Yes, they did.
And the person that makes it work with the third-party application repaired it. They didn't break a digital lock. They didn't hack. They fixed it. The same way that Northwest Repair fixes a GPU with defective power circuitry that's stuck at 500 megahertz and not going at 2 gigahertz. The Overton window needs to move in the direction of when you bought and paid for something, it's yours. You're not being a wise guy. You're simply moving the Overton window back to where it belongs, back where it was 10, 15 years ago. What do you say? Are you with me?
I say yes.
Hulu Foundation is going to be dedicated to ensuring going forward that you have access to what you bought and paid for. That is what we are about. We are about ownership, and we are about pushing back against laws that say that it is illegal to work on what you bought and paid for to get access to what it is that you own. Are you with me? I hope you are. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Bye now.
We also have the duty not to infringe the IP rights in the process. It is in fact the manufacturers who have the relevant rights, not consumers.
Yeah, I mean, Lewis is doing, Lewis has basically transitioned from computer repair to electronic consumer rights advocate. And one of you guys said, Lewis for Congress. No, Lewis would hate Congress. Lewis is doing God's work as a lobbyist. Lewis is 100% doing great work as a lobbyist on behalf of the consumer. And I'm good with that. I'm good with him as he's doing it. And, I'm good with him in the role he has now, because he's going to do more. He's going to be able to do more good as a lobbyist in this sense than being in Congress, because Brevin, like you said, Congress never gets shit done. If Lewis was to run and win a congressional seat or a Senate seat, his efforts for consumer rights would get lost in the quagmire of Congress, and nothing would ever get done. As a lobbyist, he can basically force a meeting with congressional members, sit down, and make them listen.